Hello everyone, today is 15th of December, Sunday, so I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Now it's about 11 o'clock in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Later on today, from 6 to 9 o'clock, I will try to start a live stream community chat. Veterans of our community know what am I talking about, and hopefully there will be no technical issues and I will manage to start that stream. So I'm announcing now that this might happen. And well, meanwhile, let's go through some news now. And first of all, this report from TASS news agency that during the night time, early hours this morning, Russian air defense systems intercepted 15 drones that were launched by Kiev regime to strike deep into Russian territory. And Kiev regime launched these drones, of course, with assistance of NATO member states, no doubt about that. It's NATO that provides these drones with flight path and targeting data. And technically speaking, such aerial attacks definitely can be seen as a trigger based on updated Russian nuclear doctrine, some extreme force to be deployed as a retaliation, although of course Moscow will not do that, but technically speaking, there is such a theoretical possibility. RIA Novosti is also reporting that Russian armed forces established control over the administrative building of Kurachovo city, and Kiev regime's formations are now basically blocked in western part, most western outskirts of this city, because this administrative building is also located on the western part. So this industrial zone is the only area that Kiev regime maintains its foothold in Kurachovo, and even though I'm a bit surprised that this city is not yet fully liberated, I guess before end of next week, Russian troops will establish full control over the Kurachovo and their surrounding settlements. Also, we have this report from Vladimir Rogov. This is TASS news agency's report that military expert from DPR, Donetsk People's Republic, Vladimir Rogov, stated that about 700 military personnel of Kiev regime is in cauldron now on the southern side of Kurachovo in Anovka settlement area, and this is Anovka, by the way. So this is Kurachovo here, and on the southern side, this is Anovka, and this territory, this gray area that you see on your screen, is a cauldron, basically, and there are about 700 military personnel, according to Rogov, are trapped here. They were asking Kiev regime to allow them retreat 8 times, and they were denied every time. And now, best decision they can make is to lay down arms and surrender and save their lives. Otherwise, majority of them probably will be neutralized. Number of them will end up being POW anyways, and a very small number probably will still manage to escape if they are lucky enough. Because there are attempts, according to Rogov, there are attempts when small groups are trying to escape this cauldron. They are trying to reach this river, Sukhi Yale, and to move alongside this river to avoid detection. But that's quite a risky move. And if Rogov knows about these attempts, then Russian militaries know for sure, and they will monitor the situation, of course. So most likely Kiev regime will lose hundreds of military personnel in that cauldron near Anivka. Also, dear friends, we have this report that according to interrogation of a British mercenary, formerly mercenary in reality, who knows, maybe British SAS member, and he's POW in Russian hands. Although he should not be treated as a POW, because Geneva Convention is not includes mercenaries, right? And NATO military personnel in zone of special military operation usually are designated as mercenaries. So this is not necessarily POW, it's just mercenary that end up in Russian hands. And during the interrogation, he said that Kyiv regime, basically NATO, is now sending its instructors also into Kursk salient area. That's how desperate situation for them in Kursk salient really is. So they are sending more and more troops to somehow hold on to some territories. And in this attempt, not just forcefully mobilized citizens of this former Soviet Republic is used, but also NATO instructors. So one day, NATO member states will have to answer to the family members of these instructors that will die in Kursk salient, why their family members were on Russian territory when no war is declared, at least officially, between the sides. And most likely, these family members don't even know that those families don't even know that their family members are actually conducting terrorist activity in the Kursk salient of the Russian Federation, Kursk region of the Russian Federation. So this news indicates how desperate situation for Kyiv regime is. Although, by the way, recently some photos start circulating on internet about another grouping of forces that Kyiv regime and NATO prepared. And this new grouping of forces has a square as a designated symbol. All the forces that invade Kursk salient area have a triangle designated symbol, as you probably notice. And now this new one has a square. Maybe these photos were shared on internet as a part of some media operation to mislead the Russian side, right? Or maybe Kyiv regime really is planning to conduct some on the orders of Washington and London, really are planning to conduct yet another such a suicidal operation as we see in the Kursk salient area. And there are this grouping of forces of Kyiv regime may now try to invade Bryansk region of Russian Federation, or Belgorod region, or maybe Belarus even. Who knows? But I mean, I'm just letting you know that there is new group of forces allegedly being formed with that square the designating symbol. And theoretically speaking, it is quite possible that there are another 10 or 20 or 30,000 citizens of this failed state on the name of Ukraine will be sacrificed while conducting these criminal orders to invade yet again some Russian territory, or maybe even Belarus. I don't know. We will find out soon, isn't it? Anyways, let's continue. We have this report that Russian air defense systems shut down yesterday. That was shut down yet another plane of Kyiv regime. TASS news agency is not giving us a specifics what kind of plane was intercepted. But according to reports that I see on the Russian segment of internet, it was Su-25. It was Su-25, so attack plane. So I guess it's only a matter of, weeks potentially, maximum, and Kyiv regime will finally run out of all Soviet era planes like Su-25s, MiG-29s, Su-27s, and only F-16s will be left, and potentially Mirage 2000s if and when France will fulfill its promise and start delivering those planes. And of course, Russian air defense systems, Russian fighter jets will deal with these Western planes in the very same way as they deal with their Soviet era planes. No weapon system that can be transferred to Kyiv regime can significantly change anything, with the exception of nukes. And you know my take on the topic of nukes. I believe if Russia will not deter Western ruling class right now, in near future, next phase of escalation that West will authorize is going to be transformation of Kiev regime into a nuclear armed regime. Just give it another 3 to 5 months and probably we will face that new reality when Kiev regime will openly say that it has now nukes, and they might even demonstrate, and Western states, US, UK, France, they're actively helping, I'm quite sure, actively helping Kiev regime to build their basic atomic bombs. And maybe number of such bombs already are in disposal of Kiev regime, who knows. In any case, I'm 100% convinced that this new narrative that was formed in the West, that Kiev regime may, at any time develop atomic bombs. This narrative was not a random one, right? It was done for a purpose, to prepare ground for this transformation that will take place inevitably if Russian side will not deter Western ruling class right now from further escalation. Meanwhile, RIA Novosti is reporting that yesterday during the conference of United Russia Party, this is ruling party here in Russia, a number of interesting statements was made by President of Russia, former President of Russia, many other public figures, high-ranking officials, and I will focus on statement of Medvedev now, who said that it is highly likely, it is a possibility that new territories will join Russian Federation soon, and I can understand what he is talking about, because in my personal opinion, it is highly likely, really, that once this conflict will end, most likely Kharkov region, Dnipropetrovsk region, Nikolaev region, and Odessa region, at least partially, will join Russian Federation. And potentially some parts of Chernigov and Sumy regions also, or in its entirety. But there is definitely a high probability that more territories will join Russian Federation. That's for sure. And I guess that's what Medvedev was referring to, although he did not go into some specifics, right? Meanwhile, we have this report from RT that Macron is still pushing for sending EU troops to Ukraine. First of all, EU don't have troops, right? Let's start from here. EU member states do have troops. NATO, yes, but EU, at least for now, despite all the talks that EU's army should be built and stuff, EU yet for now don't have any troops at all. But let's go through this news. French President Emmanuel Macron plans to urge EU leaders to send a peacekeeping mission to Ukraine in the event of ceasefire with Russia. Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty reported on Friday. This is US propaganda, by the way, outlet. Radio Free Europe or Radio Liberty. The force would be tasked with observing a truce if peace talks between Moscow and Kiev are successful, according to the US state-funded news outlet. The French leader plans to discuss the issue at the next week's EU summit. They can discuss whatever they want, these morons, and majority of EU leadership is the total imbeciles, right? That's for sure. But there will be no NATO troops, by the way, at least outside of Western Ukraine. Western Ukraine is a whole different story, and most likely eventually will be claimed by Poland, Hungary, and Romania, and therefore will be under NATO control one way or another, right? But when it comes to the rest of the Ukraine, there will be no NATO troops there, ever, right? So therefore, this nonsensical, I don't really understand that why this Western politicians are still pushing this narrative of sending some peacekeepers into into Kiev-controlled territory now to observe some troops or something. I mean, this is absolutely nonsensical stuff. Moscow was very clear that the freezing of the conflict is unacceptable. Moscow was very clear that the presence of NATO in Ukraine is unacceptable. Moscow was very clear that even if negotiations between Moscow and formerly Kiev started, Russia will not stop military operations. So what Macron is talking about, really? Macron and many other officials in the West, what are they talking about? What ceasefire? What peacekeepers? You know, if a Kiev regime will capitulate right now, okay, then some border may be established between Western Ukraine and the rest of the territory that will eventually join Russian Federation completely, or will be directly or indirectly controlled by Russian, right? If that's the idea behind all these talks, that these NATO troops will be stationed on the borderline between Western Ukraine and the rest of the territory, then that's a whole different story. But if they think they're gonna send troops on the current line of contact, I mean, this is not happening. This is total nonsense, right? And therefore, I find it difficult to understand why this nonsensical topic was pushed around by Western politicians and Western propaganda outlets for so long now, right? I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. We have Vzglyad News paper's report that 8 Arab countries called Israel to withdraw its forces from Syria, including from occupied Golan Heights. Statement was made in Doha after meeting of the foreign ministers of these 8 countries, in Qatar, obviously. And these countries are, by the way, Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Qatar, Lebanon, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. And well, these Arab countries wake up a little too late, isn't it? Of course, Israel not going to withdraw troops from nowhere. Of course. They will occupy more territories, actually, in Syria. That's what is going to happen. Because I'm quite sure Netanyahu's government has no care about what leadership of Arab countries has to say. Absolutely. Meanwhile, RIA Novosti is reporting that, Turkey, Ankara is denying state claims of number of media outlets that during one of the speeches, Erdogan, one of the recent speeches, Erdogan stated that Syrian cities like Idlib, Hama, Homs, Damascus are rejoining Turkey once again, and it's Turkey will always control these cities or something in that regard. Ankara later denied that these claims of media that Erdogan ever said anything like that. He was talking about re-establishing relationships with the peoples of these cities and the provinces of Syria. Okay, one way or another, but we all understand that Turkey, of course, wants to be in charge of Syria, and Turkey is in charge of Syria, by the way, right now. Even if without official occupation of Syrian territories, it is Turkey that is in charge, because all these terrorist hordes that overrun Syria were controlled mainly by Turkey, right? So one way or another, but Turkey is in charge now of Syria, majority of Syrian territories, with the exception of course, northern eastern parts where Kurdish formations are in charge, in control, at least for now. But question is for how long, because it seems like Turkey is quite determined, Turkish leadership, to neutralize Kurdish formations, military formations in this part of northern eastern part of Syria, and to establish full control over their territory of this country. And now question is, will Washington protect its Kurdish allies, Washington and London, Paris, they are actively supporting Kurdish armed groups. Will they protect them and stop Erdogan's forces, Turkish army basically, and also pro-Turkish terrorists to enter these territories that are, at least for now, controlled by Kurds, or not? If Washington and London, Paris abandon Kurdish forces, of course, they will have a little to none chances to withstand their assault from Turkish armed forces and the pro-Turkish terrorist groups, right? Anyways, let's continue. Turkey again. Vzglyad newspaper is reporting that Turkey threatened Israel that it will shut down Israeli planes if they will carry out sorties in support of Kurdish armed groups. Well, I guess, no, strong statement, of course, but I guess the statement is more for domestic use, because despite all these strong statements from leadership of Israel and Turkey in regards to each other, in reality, they are cooperating, and their recent overrun of Syria by terrorists clearly demonstrates that cooperation between Israel and Turkey, right? And therefore, of course, Israel will not do much to protect Kurdish forces, and definitely Turkey will not intercept any Israeli planes or drones, for sure. I don't see real confrontation is happening between Turkey and Israel. No. But strong statements, yes, I mean, plenty of strong statements, but these statements no longer means anything anymore. Kommersant newspaper is reporting that, well, Georgia now also has a president-elect, and his name is Mikhail Kavelashvili, former famous football player, famous at least in former Soviet Union and maybe in UK, because he was playing for, I believe, Alanya, a football team from North Ossetia, Alanya, and he was also playing for Man City, if I remember correctly, and Man City is, of course, one of the top clubs in UK, right? And well, once he retired, he joined the current ruling party in Georgia, Georgian Dream, and eventually he was nominated as a president. And yesterday, presidential elections took place, by the way. First time president was elected by electoral college, not by general election, but electoral college. He received necessary votes, and he is a president-elect now. Western-controlled opposition, including Western-controlled opposition or non-governmental organizations and so-called media, try to disrupt this election process, including current president of Georgia, Salome Zurabishvili. She was, actively trying to be disruptive. Even stated that nothing is happening in Georgia, and she's not recognizing a recent parliamentary election. She's not recognizing elections of a president of Georgia. She is really out of touch with reality completely. But that's the people that are assets of the West in Georgia, right? That type of people. And well, yesterday, despite all these attempts to disrupt elections, they failed. This Western-controlled opposition failed. Although, by the way, they're gonna try now to destabilize country and to lay down ground for regime change once again on 16th of December, because on 16th of December, or tomorrow, by the way, a mandate of current president of Georgia, this Western asset, Salome Zurabishvili, is ending, right? And she have to leave the office to allow president-elect to take office, and then to inauguration to take place, and this new president have to start his duties, right? And of course, Salome Zurabishvili already stated that she is not resigning. She don't recognize nothing that she don't likes. Same attitude is among other Western-controlled assets in Georgia, and they will definitely try to destabilize country today, tomorrow, day after, let's see what will happen. Let's see what will happen. Society in Georgia and Georgian government, for now at least, are definitely withstanding all this pressure, right? All these provocations and dealing with it quite effectively, and hopefully they will continue to do so. I hope so, because I mean, Georgia cannot have no regime changes. By the way, Georgia barely survived previous regime change, and if something like that will happen again, I mean, it is highly likely that Georgia will just not make it through it, you know. So therefore, society and the government should stay, you know, united and strong, and not to allow these provocateurs of the West to destroy country, basically. But next several days also gonna be very difficult for Georgia, that's for sure. And when it comes to presidents, by the way, we have this news, and majority of you, of course, are already familiar with this news, that South Korean president was impeached by parliament for his recent crazy actions. There was attempt to impeach him anyways, right? But after his recent crazy actions, when he declared the martial law in a country and all that stuff, of course, public in South Korea and ruling party had enough of it, and they impeached this individual, Yoon Song Yeol. So I guess he's no longer president. I don't know what is the procedure there, but I guess this person, as a politician, is finished. He might even end up in a jail for his crazy illegal actions, potentially. It was a big celebration. I saw some videos, by the way, and it seems like this person is really unpopular in Korea, because ordinary people were celebrating his impeachment, right? In mass. Also, dear friends, we have this report that Trump is calling for security services to intercept all these mysterious drones that are flying around different towns in US, in New Jersey area, over the military, some facilities and stuff. And surprisingly, at least for now, this topic is relevant for a week now, isn't it? I mean, every day there are reports about drones, and I was ignoring this topic because it was too obvious to me that it's some internal operation of the West, you know, Pentagon, CIA, officials in US even come out and said that even though they cannot provide clear answers what is happening, but they know for sure that these drones have nothing to do with the foreign actors. So if it's not foreign actors, then it's US actors, right? And which institutions in US are in a position to operate to conduct such a operation? Terror operation, actually, because they are clearly terrorizing people, right? This is some sort of experiment is taking place, I guess, you know. Some sort of experiment, and that's why they are not providing answers to people, what these drones are and what is the purpose, right? And Trump is calling those drones to be intercepted. Of course, no drone is going to be intercepted. This enough noise was made. I guess this experiment gathered enough data, and in a couple of days' time, these drones will just probably disappear, and that's going to be it, right? But some strange operation was underway, for sure, with the involvement of Pentagon and CIA, most likely, I think. Also, this report from RIA Novosti that in Russia, Viber was a blocked term, Viber platform. Don't ask me why. I don't know, dear friends. I never used Viber, I believe. But I'm always against blocking of platforms. I'm all for competition, right? Especially, I mean, when you are on the right side of history, it is easier for you, much easier for you to compete, because all you have to do is to say the truth, to deliver the truth, real information. That's it, right? And therefore, compete. compete for God's sake on all the platforms across the world, right? And support competition. Don't block these platforms, man. This is not counterproductive, I guess. I don't know, dear friends, how popular Viber was in Russia. Some people probably used it for communication. It's like this other platform, WhatsApp. It's kind of similar to WhatsApp as far as I understand. There, I don't know, but it is blocked now. And if you are planning to travel to Russia and you are active user of Viber, then you should know that here in Russia this platform is blocked now. You know, RIA Novosti is reporting that Hungary, by the way, Hungary and Bulgaria find their ways to pay for Russian gas. A statement was made by Foreign Minister of Hungary, Peter Szijjártó, about this. No specifics, by the way, how they gonna pay for Russian gas. The issue has risen after US sanctioned Gazprom bank, last Russian big bank that was connected with the SWIFT and through which all the payments were conducted for Russian gas, Russian energy, right? And about 2 weeks ago, US sanctioned Gazprom. It was turned off from the SWIFT. And of course, a number of European states that are buying Russian gas faced new reality, and they have to come up with some alternative ways to pay for Russian goods, right? And at least Hungary and Bulgaria find such a way. They find such a way. They are not disclosing it, at least for now, seems like. But it is good to know that Hungary will continue to receive whatever they want from Russia, whatever they need from Russia, and they be able to pay for it. It's good because Hungary is definitely one of the few European states, together with Serbia, obviously, by the way. Lately, Slovakia also. One of the few countries in Europe that really were acting adequately and at least not demonstrating some extreme hostility towards Russia, right? So therefore, of course, I guess majority people here in Russia will be absolutely in favor of further improving relationships with their non-hostile countries, let's say, of Europe. So good news that at least for now, Hungary and Bulgaria managed to resolve the issue of payments for Russian gas, and I guess for other goods that they are buying in Russia. And this is it for now. Relatively short update, but hopefully you will find it informative, interesting, and useful. And if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. This is the only way we can try at least to influence algorithm. And sometimes, we are quite successful there, friends. Usually, most times, no, but sometimes, we are managing with likes and comments to confuse algorithm, and then my videos are shown in recommendations for a day or two. So maybe we can do it again, I don't know. And dear friends, if you like my work, if you think I deserve to be in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal or Boosty platforms, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And before I go, let me remind you once again that from 6 to 9 o'clock today, I will make additional announcement about it. But most likely from 6 to 9 o'clock, I will start the live stream. This is going to be technical live stream, just to see how it works. So hopefully everything will be okay, and I hope you will join. If live stream will start, I hope you will join the conversation. It's going to be community chat, by the way, community chat, Q&A mainly. Of course, I will share additional news also during the stream that Russian media will pay attention to. So this is it for now. Have a wonderful day and take care.